we play a game?
Why, yes. I believe we shall.
Oh, I got a live one here.
Welcome, live from Little Rock. It's Shane Plays Radio, Geek Talk Radio, a journey into the things we love. I'm Shane Stacks, your host. Thanks so much for joining me. Whether you're listening live on the radio, 96.5 FM The Answer, or on the 96.5 FMTheAnswer.com website, or on your smartphone or tablet on, iTunes? No, not iTunes. iHeartRadio app, and that's that other app. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, Zach. It's iHeartRadio and TuneIn. I think TuneIn radio app. So you can listen that way too. If you're listening delayed via the podcast or on Krypton Radio, KryptonRadio.com is SciFi for your Wi-Fi. Thanks so much also for listening. And we're still working on getting the show live on Krypton Radio. Got a great show this week. You know, it's really nice weather outside, Zach. Zach is my able-bodied producer in there.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. It's a nice weather outside. I'm kind of bummed. I like winter.
I do too.
I don't mind spring weather, but I don't want it in the middle of winter. But we're basically having it today.
Yeah.
In good old Central Arkansas. There's people loving it and good for them, but I like my winter. That's just me. So anyway, want to get these housekeeping notes out of the way, and then we'll dive right into all the goodness that is Shane Plays Radio. The show notes and the links that we're going to be talking about today can always be found on the website at shaneplays.com. There's a show notes post up right now. So always make sure that you can, or be aware that you can check that out. The podcast will go out in a day or two on the shaneplays.com, on Patreon, on iTunes, Stitcher, other fine podcast directories. And then, of course, we have Krypton Radio. KryptonRadio.com is SciFi for your Wi-Fi. So that's all the multiple ways that you can get this goodness. Now, we've got a good show today. We're going to be talking to a YouTube channel guy named Yoda Didn't Die. And do you know what Snapchat is, Zach? Are you familiar with Snapchat?
I know what it is, but I never used it before.
Okay. Well, Snapchat's just kind of a social media app that you can do your own art with and other like posts, but you can add art and little short videos to it. And he worked with some folks, and they completely recreated the Star Wars The Force Awakens trailer in Snapchat.
Yeah.
It looks really cool. So there's a guy I work with, actually, that was part of the project and turned me on to it. So we're going to have Yoda Didn't Die on later. But before then, let's turn on the secret microphone and listen to our news team hard at work. There they go. There they go, hard at work. You know, I wonder if they figured out yet that we listen to them. Because I don't know if they listen to the show. If they listen to the show, then they know we listen to them. I don't know. But I think Sal might be figuring out because he's starting to give me funny looks. And he seems to be looking around the newsroom as if he's trying to find something. So, Zach, did you ever see Columbo? Do you know who Columbo is? Okay, Sal's like Columbo. He walks around and seems he's got it about together as an unmade bed, but he's sharp as a tack.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's no dummy. I think he's figuring it out. Anyway, they brought us some good news stories. This actually is a news story, the first one. This is a shout out to one of our sponsors, Troll Lord Games, who bring us, of course, Castles and Crusades and other fine role-playing games. They've actually got a Kickstarter going on right now. It's for 5th edition. Familiars, Monstrous Companions, Steeds, and more. So if you want some more goodness for your 5th edition game, then you can check that out. And that's compatible with multiple games out there, especially now that 5th edition has opened up the OGL and SRD, which, you know, deep role-playing games nerds will know what that means. So that's just a shout out. And I think Steve from Troll Lord Games is going to be joining us again in February. I was I was texting with him today about that. So hopefully that'll work out. We almost got him this weekend, but that didn't work out. So, and I already had the other guy scheduled, and I was just waiting to see how it was gonna go. But I'm really looking forward to talking to Michael or who is Yoda Didn't Die. Now, this is both cool and a little bit scary, Zach. You know how people are always talking about the robot overlords that are coming?
I have no clue.
Okay, well, they do. They talk. Even Stephen Hawking this day is kind of saying, hey, we need to be a little bit worried about artificial intelligence. He is, man. But anyway, Google achieved an artificial intelligence breakthrough by beating the Go champion. Now, do you know what Go is? Okay, it's a game that's been around forever like chess. And it kind of, you know what Othello is, where you have the little white and black thing? Anyway, just it's just it's an old game that's been around forever, and it has a lot more moves than chess.
Yeah.
So from an AI perspective, it's more of a challenge, and they've consistently, their computer has consistently beaten the European Go champion. And now I think they're setting something up for the world Go champion. But some guy, the article, and it's linked at shameplays.com, and that I got the actual news from BBC News. Some guy, I don't know if this is true, but he said there's more moves in Go than there are atoms in the universe. So the point is, there's a lot of moves. And if you can get a computer to consistently beat like a champion at that's no small feat. Right. So on the other hand, I got to put on I just pushed my glasses. And I got my little pocket protector in. We don't know how big the universe is, so you don't know how many atoms there are. Okay, moving on. So cool news from a programming perspective, bad news from the survival of the human race perspective. Because pretty soon it's going to be Terminators running around with pulse rifles because of this, Zach. Because they beat the Go champion. So anyway, all right, I got to know, Zach, would this interest you? And if anybody's out there listening, remember, you can always call us at 501-823-0965, or you can tweet me at Shane Plays. That's ShanePlays. Shane Plays. The world's first gamer hotel has opened in Amsterdam. And this news is from Pixel Dynamo. There's so you travel. You imagine this. You pay the money to travel overseas. Yeah. Now, I guess if you're in Europe, it's not necessarily overseas. But anyway, you go on a trip. You book your rooms at a hotel that's designed to keep you in there playing video games. I mean, I guess if you just want to play video games in new and interesting places, I don't know. But it says, besides a lobby that is filled with gaming consoles and a comic book library, geeky travelers can also game in the privacy of their own rooms, as each of the 36 rooms is outfitted with a retro console and various gaming gear. There will also be gaming events taking place at the hotel so that you can mingle with other like-minded gamers and probably never take a step outside the building.
Okay, that sounds cool.
Yeah, but why would you go to Amsterdam if you don't want to take... It's cool and it's not. You know what I mean? I'll tell you, it said it's the Arcade Hotel. That's the name of it. We'll also be building a gaming room and 9 more rooms in the near future. Now, here's what I think will be cool about this. If you want to go to Amsterdam and meet other people that you probably have the same interest. But I don't think it would be cool to go all the way to Amsterdam and then hole up in a hotel for a week playing video games. As much as I like to play games. So I'd love to see what people have to say about that.
Take someone with you.
Yeah, but you might as well just stay at home.
Yeah,
you know, I don't know. Anyway, 501-823-0965 or tweet me at Shane Plays if you haven't thought of it. I do think that's neat, Zach. Don't get me wrong. But I hope that people don't go there and then just camp out in the hotel, right? I mean, then why go to Amsterdam?
You know, there's people out there who will do that.
They will. Yeah. They will. Yeah. And speaking of classics, because we're talking about the first gamer hotel, some of the very first games ever are being brought back by Steam. Steam is bringing the Atari Vault. It's not out yet. I don't think they've actually announced when it's coming. I think they're demoing it at this weekend's PAX South. But Atari Vault is bringing 100 classic games back. So on Steam, you can buy this Atari Vault and get 100 Atari games. And these are the games that help launch the whole deal. And evidently, they work really well. Have you heard about the Steam controller, Zach?
No.
Okay, so the Steam controller, it's like, imagine like an Xbox or a PlayStation controller, but it's built to work with Steam games. And it's got some pressure-sensitive stuff on it and whatever. But I think that the speculation is that Steam controller will work extremely well with these games. I'll probably get this just to have access to all these games. But, you know, so there's still some question on, is it the classic arcade versions? Is it the Atari 2600 home console versions? We don't know what versions they all are yet. But
I got to do my research.
I think this is pretty neat. So, and another really neat story that I'm happy to hear, especially because I do some Let's Play on my YouTube channel. I do have a YouTube channel. I think it's youtube.com/GoShanePlays. You can find it off my website. Sony attempted to trademark the term Let's Play. I'm like, what? So, but the news is, and this is from Polygon, that Sony's attempt to trademark Let's Play has dealt a critical blow by gaming law firms. So Sony, for some reason, I don't understand what the deal is. I don't understand the full situation, is trying to trademark Let's Play. And there's thousands, if not millions, of Let's Play videos out
Right.
there. People are doing it. And they've already, I guess twice now, people have challenged it and said, this doesn't make any sense. And then Sony has so many days to respond.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping this dies a slow, horrible death, because that's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
I could see them wanting to do like Sony Play or Let's Play Sony or something, but to just trademark Let's Play.
Right.
It's like you've heard the classic argument about patents on you can't patent a shovel because it's in so wide use or whatever. That it's not an exact analogy, but that's very close here. I mean,
I
it's
get what
just
you're saying.
yeah, it's just so widespread. All right, this is cool news. Fans of DC animated will be very happy about this. Kevin Conroy is back as the Batman. He's the guy, of course, who voiced the animated series and all that. Breaking news: Justice League Action has been announced by the DC Comics blog, and that it's going to be a series of animated episodes, but they're only 11 minutes long. And they're action based, whatever that means. And looking at the artwork in this, tweeted it out and put it on Facebook and I think I even put it on the Tumblr. But it looks kind of kiddie, right? So I don't quite know what we're getting here, but I think people are very happy because you're getting Kevin Conroy doing Batman. You're getting Mark Hamill's doing the Joker again and all that.
I love those animated movies. Gods and Monsters and yeah, I love those.
And that's leading into my next news item here. The new they're doing a series of, 2 or 3 a year animated movies, and the next one's coming out this Tuesday, and it's Batman Bad Blood.
Yeah, that's the one I want to see.
Yeah, that's coming out.
It.
And I think that's the follow up to Batman versus Robin.
Okay.
So this is like the third, I think, in a series of Batman movies. So that's this Tuesday. Thanks for bringing that up. And this is weird. We've got. I think this is either going to be incredibly cool or tragically horrible. We've got DC Comics has partnered up with Hanna-Barbera. Now we're talking Scooby Doo, Flintstones, Wacky Racers. What is it? Space Ghost, and they're doing updated comic book versions of these guys. So you've got Scooby Doo in the Apocalypse with like an updated Fred and Wilma, and like Shaggy is like a hipster now with a handlebar mustache and tattoos and stuff. You got Wacky Racers with Mad Max, right? You've got, I think they're doing something with Johnny Quest.
Okay.
It's just crazy, these comic books that are coming out. I think they're coming out in June. And the artwork looks cool. You can go to shaneplays.com, check out the show notes, go check out the and this is again from Polygons where I found the news. People are divided on this, of course. But really, like Shaggy, when Shaggy was created back in the day, I think in the late 60s, early 70s, I'm trying to think of when Scooby-Doo, he was like a slacker hipster, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, this is what he would be like now, right?
Okay.
I mean, he was like, when they created Shaggy back in the day, it's like the dudes that hang out in coffee shops with a little goatee.
Yeah.
And hey, man, what's going on? Hey, and so this could work.
Okay.
I'm going to check it out, but like I said, it's either going to be amazingly great or it's going to lead to a bunch of nerd rage. So we'll see what happens. And this speaking of nerds, not just geeks but nerds, because back in the day when D&D first came out, we were taught it was nerds. The original OD&D. Now I'm not talking about D&D Basic. I'm not talking about D&D Expert Rules. I'm not talking about D&D AD&D First Edition. I'm talking about original D&D back in the white box with the little booklets. Those are now officially legally available on PDF. If you can go to the DMs Guild. Or you can go to Dungeon Masters Guild or dmsguild.com from Wizards of the Coast, and you can buy those now for $9.99. Now, I'd still love to have those, the originals in the box, but having the PDFs, I think, would be pretty darn cool. So, and there's a lot of really cool stuff going on with the DMs Guild. I salute Wizards of the Coast and D&D for doing that. So, a couple more news items, then we're going to hit a break, and then when I think we're trying to get our guest on the line right now to be bringing him in for his segment. But Weird Al, if people know and love Weird Al like I do, Weird Al in the 80s was a little different from the Weird Al that we have now. And Weird Al will be playing 80s version of himself on February 17th on the Goldbergs. And it's I've seen some pictures. Go to shaneplays.com and check out the news links. He looks just like he did in the 80s. He's playing a perfect version of himself from the 80s. So I'm really excited about that. And of course, the Goldbergs is a TV sitcom that's set in the 80s. Star Wars Episode 9. It's the director from Jurassic Park. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He wants to film part of Star Wars Episode 9 in space, in IMAX. So what I mean by that, he doesn't want to simulate with special effects like they're in space. He actually wants to shoot part of the movie in space, in IMAX. He's asked for permission to do it, and he's waiting to hear back. And I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but it's the director from Jurassic World. So it's that same director. And like I said, he said, hey, they've shot space footage in IMAX before, and I want to do that for Star Wars Episode 9. Now, we're not talking about Episode 8, which is the next one. This would be the one after that. So that would be pretty neat. Now, I've got one more news item that I want to get into, but it involves a little bit of nerd rage. I mentioned nerd rage. I'm going to go ahead and cut to a break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Yoda Didn't Die, talking about Snapchat and his project that turned out really cool to do an entire Snapchat version of the Force Awakens trailer. And before that, I'm going to rant a little bit. I'm going to have a little nerd rage involving the X-Files. So stay tuned after this break on Shane Plays, Geek Talk Radio.
Megawars.net. The classic online space strategy game has returned, bigger and better than ever before. Scout the universe and claim your empire. Construct, customize, and launch dozens of different starships. Battle thousands of opponents online in a team-based competition leading to the ultimate battle of the galaxies. Grab your slot today in one of the most hotly anticipated indie games of 2015. Visit Megawars.net and get options only available during our pre-sale event running now. Megawars.net.
The die is cast. Plunge into worlds of fantastic adventure where dragons lie and the undead stalk the shades of your mind's imagines. Where creatures of legend plunder wealth through the horror of their passage. Monsters grim and foul hold the ecstasy of gold and the renown of glory. All this and more awaits you and your friends in the unlimited, fantastic world of the Castles and Crusades role-playing game from Trollord Games. Visit your friendly local game store or Trollord.com to get your copy today. A rules-light, adaptable game that has stood the test of time. 12 years in constant publication with no new additions, Castles and Crusades is the original, easy-to-play attribute check system. Join us and unleash your imagination. Visit your friendly local game store or Trollord.com to get your copy of Castles and Crusades today. Shane Plays Radio is blessed to have sponsors, and we appreciate them very much. However, did you know that you can also support the show as an individual for as little as $1 an episode? Simply go to patreon.com/Shane Plays.
Hey, welcome back to Shane Plays Geek Talk Radio, a journey into the things we love. Appreciate you being a part of the show, whether you're listening live on the radio or online, or if you're listening by podcast or on Krypton Radio. We've got, right now, I believe on the phone, we have Yoda Didn't Die.
Yes.
All right.
Whoa.
So do you want to go by your name or by Yoda Didn't Die? What do you prefer?
You can call me Michael, or most people from Snapchat, when they see me, they call me Yoda just because it's short for Yoda Didn't Die, but you can call me Michael if you'd like.
Okay, well, Michael, a.k.a. Yoda Didn't Die, a.k.a. Yoda, and he didn't die. He became one with the Force, dude. So I'm okay. I'm cool.
Exactly.
I'm cool with that. So, all right. So Michael, a.k.a. Yoda, I went ahead and brought you in because I got to get a rant off my chest that has nothing to do with your segment, but I wanted to go ahead and get to a break, and I didn't want you waiting in the wings too long. So feel free to chime in on this, or if you're like, I want no part of this, that's fine too. And then as soon as I get this off my chest, we're going to talk about this really cool thing you did with Snapchat and Star Wars The Force Awakens. All right, Zach or Yoda, did either of y'all watch the X-Files premiere Sunday night?
I never watched the X-Files.
Not.
You did not?
No.
Okay. I do not normally participate in nerd rage, but I raged Sunday night. Let me tell you why. All right. And there's a lot of articles about it. I'm not the only one. It blew up on Twitter, and there were articles talking about how bad Fox mishandled it and everything. First of all, if people are curious, I think the new X-Files, I've seen 2 episodes. That's, they had an episode Sunday night and Monday night. They're good. The first one, I felt like they tried to pack too much in, and there was a little bit of, it was a little uneven. The second one felt like the X-Files again. It was they're back with the FBI. They're wearing, the suits, and they're investigating stuff, and it's starting to feel like X-Files again. And they kept the same opening and all that. So I think it's cool. I'm glad they're doing it. I enjoyed it, what I've seen so far. What I didn't like, and what a whole lot of other people didn't like, especially if you were paying attention to Twitter on Sunday night on the X-Files, there was the X-Files hashtag and the X-Files hashtag. The Fox, and Zach, I know you're like wanting to be a sports analyst. I know you're all about sports.
Yeah.
I don't care right now, man, because what they did is they were like, hey, X-Files is coming back, 9 o'clock Sunday night. Well, they had this championship game, right? I don't even know who was in it.
NFC championship
All right,
game.
a bunch of people running around. I don't know. Okay, football, right? They were getting slam dunks and hat tricks and I think some free throws. I don't know what was going on, Zach. I think. Anyway, maybe there was a quarterback. I'm not sure what happened. Yoda, are you a football fan?
A little bit. Every now and then I'll tune in and watch some with friends, but I'm not like an intense viewer now.
I equate football with watching paint dry. That's just me. Now, I know a lot of other people out there love football, and I'm okay with that. I have never been into football, and I'm from a sports crazy family. I just never got the bug. But here's the deal: the game was over. And they went on with this after game show that what happened? Well, we played the best game we could. The same things that get said every time.
Okay.
And people had their DVRs set. They've been promoting this Fox thing for X-Files thing for months. A lot of people tried to DVR and lost the first 30 minutes. The game was over. Done. And they went on bunch of people standing around going, we did the best game. I guarantee you 95% of what was said in that post-game show could have been said in any other post-game. It's like they cut and paste the same statements in.
There was the NFC championship game, man.
I don't care. Don't run. You don't understand the nerd rage that erupted.
Well, football rules, man. I'm sorry. It rules.
Oh, you don't. I want to believe that you might know better than that, Zach. I want to believe. Oh. Anyway, I just want to get that off my chest.
X-Files, football.
Trust me, there were a whole lot of people Sunday night. There's all kinds of articles out there. The nerd rage erupted. And I usually don't participate in nerd rage, but I was right there. I was like, the game is... I'm tweeting. I'm going berserk. I'm going nuts. I'm like, just kill me now, man. And there's a lot of people... Now, my thing was, I was just a little bit inconvenienced because I'm watching it live. So I've got to sit there and shove bamboo under my fingernails for 25 minutes waiting on X-Files to start while old white men come out on the stage and talk about the same thing that I'm really proud that I own this team and who's the MVP and all this. Zach's in there cracking up. He knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I do.
Same thing over and over.
Yeah.
Now, I was just mildly inconvenienced. But there's a lot of people who've been for months, Fox has been promoting the crud out of this thing, and they set their DVRs, and they missed the first 25 minutes of X-Files.
Why would you put the X-Files right behind the NFC Championship game?
Well, there you go.
Why would you do that?
Either that or why not just premiere it at 9:30 to give yourself room? You know what I mean?
But maybe that's too late.
I don't know. So what they're trying to do is, anyway, I don't want to spend too much time because Yoda's waiting. You don't keep Yoda waiting. He's 900 years old, but you still don't keep him waiting. We're going to get to him right now. But I just wanted to get that off. Fox TV, you messed up. There's a lot. Go read. I mean, there's articles. People were really upset about this. And I was like, God, and I never get upset over this kind of stuff.
I feel you.
I'm like, it is what it is. But I was like, Rah! I mean, I was like, just kill me now. And just going nuts. My wife probably was frightened. I don't know. Football, man.
It's the greatest.
Yeah. Not when it's preempting my X-Files, baby.
That's on Fox.
Fox Mulder was waiting.
That's on Fox.
Okay, anyway, let's get to the real segment. We got Yoda. Yoda didn't die, a.k.a. Michael, YouTuber and Snapchatter on the line. Man, thanks so much for coming on. Now, people.
No, anytime, my pleasure.
Yeah, I think it's really cool to have you. Now, the way I heard about you is one of my coworkers is Jeff, and he told me about this project. And then I also know, I don't know if you know Cyrene that does the 11th Second. I used to work with her. She's moved on, but she's way big into Snapchat. So
she's very successful.
She's huge. Yeah, she's like gone way huge. But anyway, so that's pretty much my extent of my knowledge with Snapchat. I've messed with it here and there. I want to get more into it. But what you did, and people can go to shaneplays.com and look at the show notes. And there's some articles linked there, and both videos are embedded. Or you can go to the Yoda Didn't Die YouTube channel, or just search online for Star Wars, The Force Awakens Snapchat trailer. And what you did, now tell us a little bit, what is Snapchat for people who don't know, and how is it relevant to what you did?
Okay, so Snapchat is like a messaging app, but it's a photo or video messaging app, so you can take a picture or a short video within a given amount of time, usually under 10 seconds, and then you can send it to a friend, one or two friends, or you can post it to a story where everyone who has you as a friend can watch it for 24 hours. But the neat thing about Snapchat is it's different than all the other social media apps. It takes up the full entire screen with the content it shows you. So when someone sends you something, the whole entire screen of your phone is just focused 100% on what they sent you. And it's getting your undivided attention for that allotment of time, because you know that the content is going to disappear after 10 seconds or so. Other apps, it's just a feed where you get to scroll, and it doesn't disappear. All the content will be there. So you may miss things, just keep scrolling until something catches your eye. But with Snapchat, I mean, you just give it your undivided attention for that amount of time, which is really valuable to brands and, consumers too. But still, that's what kind of makes it a little bit different. It has a drawing feature, and
that's actually the drawing feature is what is actually more interesting to me than the limited visibility feature. Although I understand both are important to the concept of the app. So, and when you define for people who are trying to what is this? When you say drawing feature, I know what you mean, but what explain it to somebody has no clue what you're talking about.
All right. So once you take a picture or a video, it gives you the option to draw over what you just captured. So you could take a picture of a friend and draw a silly hat on them or a mustache or put them in a spaceship. And then you can kind of transform the real world with your thoughts in your head, your creativity. You can kind of draw right on top of real life. And it's very unique and innovative. But it allows for a lot of creativity between users.
Okay. Yeah, and it's I've seen some pretty interesting stuff. I've seen and I won't throw out last names or anything, but like Jeff, who I know and who I've seen him on his lunch break, he'll be eating and he'll just be drawing on his Snapchat. He'll have a little stylus or even with his finger, and he'll be doing all kinds of cool little drawings. And then, of course, I've seen Cyrene do some amazing stuff for, ad promotions and whatnot.
Yep, they do very well, but it's easy. It's just something to do in your downtime. It takes 5 to 10 minutes to up to, half an hour to an hour on some of the more detailed drawings. But people put a lot of time and effort into it, and there's not too many people who are really invested in it, but there's a good 30, probably 40 people who are considered Snapchat artists around the world where they have followings, and people follow them just to see their funny or creative art or their stories, which is really cool.
Okay, so that's Snapchat, and if people want to know more, go look up Snapchat. But basically, what it is it's a social media messaging service that the message is limited in how long you can view it, and so it has some specialness in that it's there and then it's gone, and then too you can on your pictures or whatever you can draw on top of it. And send it along, and it looks really cool. I've seen some really unique artistic stuff. So just search for Snapchat out there if you want to know more. Now, what our guest, Yoda Didn't Die, and he's got a YouTube channel and Snapchat, and go to shaneplays.com, check out the show notes. He's linked there. What he did was he kind of oversaw this project where how many individual artists were involved with this, Michael?
I think we had 21 total artists from around the entire world help with this project.
So they did all the art in the Snapchat app, and then you took it and made a scene-by-scene, practically frame-by-frame recreation of the Star Wars The Force Awakens trailer.
Yes.
And it looks really cool. Now,
thank you.
yeah, no, I liked it a lot. I was like, oh, this is really neat. And, you could tell a lot of love went into it. So before I have some questions about the trailer itself, what got you into Snapchat and why did you want to do this project with it?
I got into Snapchat. I got into it a little bit late, actually. Probably 6 months to a year after it was out and being widely used. A bunch of my friends had it, and I just finally gave in and tried it out. And the drawing feature was one of the first features that was included in the original Snapchat app that has still stuck with it to this day. And that kind of jumped out at me the most. I've always, loved drawing and cartoons and doodling. And I kind of just, gravitated toward it. You didn't have to carry a sketchbook around anymore if you wanted to draw while you were out and about. You could just pull out your phone and draw on that. But what made me want to do this project was, ever since I was little, I've always had a great passion for Star Wars. That's my entire childhood. That's what I grew up on.
Right.
And I wanted to collaborate and make, a big Snapchat Star Wars project, but I was scared to do it, a year ago. I was afraid I wasn't going to do it justice to myself. So I waited until I saw this opportunity when that new trailer launched at halftime at the football game. And as soon as I saw it, it was just, I just knew at that moment that's what I wanted to do.
That's what you wanted to do. Okay.
Make that. Yeah, and it worked out great. I was so happy with how it turned out.
So to give people an idea of what happened, and like I said, go to YouTube, people, if you're listening. Well, I know you're listening, but if you want to know more, go to like YouTube or look up Yoda Didn't Die. And there's 2 trailers you need to watch. There's one that is just a trailer itself that is all done in Snapchat, and it's the long, what is it, like 2 minutes? Yeah,
it's right over 2 minutes. It's like 2 minutes 12 seconds.
Yeah, it's like the quote unquote official trailer, right, that they released. Not a teaser trailer, right. It's their full trailer. So there's one that's done entirely in Snapchat, which is impressive on its own. But there's another one, there's this comparison video where it puts one on top of the other, and you watch in real time, you watch the Snapchat trailer versus the video trailer of the actual film. And then you can really appreciate how well it's done and what the Snapchat artists were able to do by creating all these assets and giving them the Yoda Didn't Die. And then you animated everything, right? I mean, they just created assets, like art assets, and then you put everything together. Is that how it worked?
Yeah, it was. Well, originally I reached out to about 30 people, and about 10 of them said they weren't able to do it because of, busy schedules and stuff, which is understandable. So we ended up having the 20 people that were just artists. I divvied up every single scene. I had to go through the entire trailer frame by frame, just picking out every single scene and picking apart layers and finding out how to make it come to life. And I assigned everyone scenes and sent them out. And not everyone was able to do all their scenes, so whatever ones they couldn't do, I ended up picking up. Total, there was like 52 different scenes squished into 2 minutes worth of video.
Right.
So on average, each of the 20 artists did about 2 scenes, a little bit less.
But by doing the scenes, you mean they just did the assets? They didn't animate them, right?
Yeah, it was like I screenshot something from the trailer, like a certain scene, and I would send it to them via Snapchat or whatever, and I'd outline certain people or characters, vehicles that they needed to draw, and send back to me. And then I would take apart all of their art and put it on top of each other animate it, bring it to life, and just make it mirror the scene from the trailer exactly.
Okay, so Snapchat is not an application that's going to let you do a 2-minute video, from the best I understand. So what did you animate all this in? Understanding that all of the art assets were created in the Snapchat ad. There's not a single art asset, if I understand it, that's not,
right.
You're right, that wasn't done in Snapchat. But what did you actually use to do your animation?
I just used a simple animation program. I went with some Adobe software to do this one. But all the art, every single scene was drawn on someone's phone through the Snapchat app, which just shows you how much talent and effort was put into one project. Right.
No, it looks really great. Now, I know that the part that Jeff worked on was there's a scene where they go to hyperspace. And I know he helped with that scene. So now with art assets being contributed, were there any hey, I got 20 people can help, not 30? Were there any scenes where you had to do the art assets in addition to the animation?
Yeah, that was actually one of my biggest fears as I started it, was I wouldn't have enough people helping to finish all 52 scenes. So some people ended up having to drop some over time because they, weren't able to get them done. But overall, out of the 52 scenes from the trailer, I had to pick up 20 of the scenes myself.
Oh, wow.
So almost half of the art in there was drawn on my phone through Snapchat. Wow. Which was a lot of work on top of animating the entire thing, but it was totally worth it.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I want to about to have to cut to a break. When we come back, I want to get into maybe how long all this took, how many person hours. I don't think man hours is politically correct anymore. How long it all took, but I do want to for the people who are deep into the technical aspect of it, do you mind sharing what Adobe product you used actually?
Oh yeah, I used the Adobe After Effects 2015 version, I think.
Okay.
They came out with a new CC one that I haven't messed with yet.
Okay, so basically you used Adobe After Effects, art assets in Snapchat. Was there any other, Photoshop? I'm just trying to get an idea of what technically was required to do this. Or was it all straight from Snapchat into After Effects?
Yeah. Well, once they would draw the scene I gave them in Snapchat, they sent it to me, and then I imported that into Photoshop, and I had to outline and layer every single character, vehicle, background. Every moving object had to be taken out of the art they sent me and made on its own layer, so then they could move over top of each other or interact with each other.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, so we're about to go to break. When we come back, I want to know how long all this took. That fascinates me to get... because just animating a 2-minute anything is going to take a while, but to all these different people involved and, you having to cut stuff out, it fascinates me. I'll tell you, I've only seen one critique of this thing, and I think the critique is not warranted. Somebody objected to, there's a scene with Kylo Ren where it shows his hair, and everyone was like, but that's actually in the trailer. But I guess maybe maybe the art asset helps the fact that his hair is visible stand out. I don't know. But yeah, it's like, dude, that's in the trailer. So if that's
someone had complained about it. Oh, spoiler.
Yeah, like it's a spoiler. Yeah. So it's like, well, dude, it's in the trailer. So now I got to admit, in the film version, I didn't notice that. And I probably wouldn't notice it if the person hadn't pointed it out, that was like, hey, you're spoiling. But yeah, it's a scene you didn't add or remove anything. It's a scene by scene, image by image recreation. So I bet you weren't doing much recreation while all this was going on. All right. Well, let's hit a break. When we come back, I want to learn more about, how long this took and what the communication process was like with all these different people involved. We come back on Shane Plays Radio.
Megawars.net. The classic online space strategy game has returned, bigger and better than ever before. Scout the universe and claim your empire. Construct, customize, and launch dozens of different starships. Battle thousands of opponents online in a team-based competition leading to the ultimate battle of the galaxies. Grab your slot today in one of the most hotly anticipated indie games of 2015. Visit megawars.net and get options only available during our pre-sale event running now. megawars.net.
The die is cast.
Plunge into worlds of fantastic adventure where dragons lie and the undead stalk the shades of your mind's imagines. Where creatures of legend plunder wealth through the horror of their passage. Monsters grim and foul hold the ecstasy of gold and the renown of glory. All this and more awaits you and your friends in the unlimited, fantastic world of the Castles and Crusades role-playing game from Trollord Games. Visit your friendly local game store or Trollord.com to get your copy today. A rules-light, adaptable game that has stood the test of time. 12 years in constant publication with no new additions. Castles and Crusades is the original, easy-to-play attribute check system. Join us and unleash your imagination. Visit your friendly local game store or Trollord.com to get your copy of Castles and Crusades today. Shane Plays Radio is blessed to have sponsors, and we appreciate them very much. However, did you know that you can also support the show as an individual for as little as $1 an episode? Simply go to patreon.com/Shane Plays.
Hey, we're back with Shane Plays Radio, Geek Talk Radio, a journey into the things you love and that we love and that I love. Joined by Michael, a.k.a. Yoda Didn't Die, a.k.a. Yoda, a YouTuber and Snapchatter and all-around creative and interesting guy who loves Snapchat and Star Wars and found a very cool way to bring them together. Now, if you're just joining us, make sure to go to shaneplays.com, check out the show notes for today's show. There's a couple of videos embedded there. There's some links to Michael's YouTube and all that, ways to find him. And what he did was he did a scene by scene, basically frame by frame recreation of the Star Wars The Force Awakens trailer in Snapchat using only art assets from a messaging app on phones. So very neat. Now, what I wanted to talk about coming off the break, Michael, first of all, how long did just your part in all this take? And then how long do you estimate, like everybody that was involved creating assets and sending them, like how long, was this project?
All right. Well, what made it, the length of it was determined by how many scenes were in the trailer. Like I said, it was like a 2-minute trailer with 52 scenes in it. And
that's a lot of scenes in one trailer.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I wouldn't have thought. I thought it would be around 25, 30 because there's, some long few-second scenes, but there's a lot of fast jump cuts that are, a third of a second long, and those are the tricky ones. They'll get you. But 52 scenes to animate is a lot of time animating. Just that alone took roughly 125 hours.
Wow. That's not including the 20 scenes that you had to develop the assets for yourself.
Correct. That's not including 20 scenes that I drew or all the hours that all the other talented artists put into drawing their scenes as well. Overall, it was probably around 200 total man hours, including everybody that participated. But it was over like a 2-month span, so over that time, I mean, I had to sacrifice, my social life to get this project done.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you a college? If you don't mind me asking, are you a college student, or what do you do with your daytime?
Yeah,
or your nighttime too.
I'm a college student. I do have some day and nighttime classes. I work part-time during the day, but studies for school kind of weigh in. I'm paying for that, so I got to make sure I maintain the good grades while I put in multiple hours a day.
Right.
Working on this thing.
So
timing was a big thing too.
Yeah, you wanted to get it out quickly. Yeah, you wanted to get out fairly close, and of course you wanted to get out before the movie came out, right? So that would be a guess of mine.
Right, because if it came out after, I mean, not as much attention would have been drawn to it.
Right. So speaking of attention, I know Mashable did an article, and I know Cyrene kind of pushed it out. Were you able to parlay this into any credit at school? Like any classes this could have related to?
I try to when I can. For this specific project, I wasn't able to work it into a school aspect, but I have before. I've used Snapchat to do homework for me. I've done homework on Snapchat, done drawings, printed them out, and turned them in for grades.
Oh, wow.
Which was really interesting. The teacher didn't know what to think. But, yeah, you can definitely...
Well, what kind of grade did you get if the teacher didn't know what to think? Did you get a passing grade? No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to mess around. Yeah, that's your business. Well, so in addition to Mashable, and what kind of reception or coverage, or what was the reception when this went out?
It was a lot bigger than I anticipated. Honestly, I was just doing it because that's what I wanted to do. I had a passion for it, and I wanted to make this happen for me to justify it. But when it was first released, I mean, within 2-3 days before the weekend was over, it had amassed like 20,000 views online over Facebook, YouTube. There was multiple articles. I mean, I think in total there was almost 20 different articles written on it. The Huffington Post, from the LAD Bible to London Times, Australian radio. Nice. It was everywhere, and it was really cool to see that it was just being shared so much, and so many people got to watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah, and then we all want to be able to earn a living, make money in life, but there's something about putting your heart and time and passion, and then see people genuinely appreciate it. Even on my level, like, doing the radio show and then a podcast, I can tell, especially by the podcast, which ones are received well more than others. And that's just a good feeling when you put your time and effort and you see that people are genuinely enjoying it. Sure. Absolutely.
Nice to see.
Yeah. So has it led to any, has anybody approached you like, hey, can you do some Snapchats for us? Or we'd like to do something like this for another video. Has anything like that come around?
Yeah, yes and no. A few companies did contact me and mentioned doing some work for them. It ended up not going well. We ended up not being able to do it at the time, but in the near future, we'll still be in contact. And I don't want to spoil anything, but we do have another project in the works that is coming out very soon, which I am super excited about, which is even bigger than the Star Wars one.
Wow, that's a pretty big statement. So I'll be looking forward to that. So I know what it is. It's the Deadpool trailer. I'm joking. I have no clue. I'm just joking.
You never know.
You never know. Well, I'm going to have to, about a minute or so, I got to start closing the show, but is there anything, that you just want to make sure you're like, hey, I want to make sure to mention this when we're talking about this today? Anything else you'd like to mention?
No, we covered a lot of it. I mean, I was just really appreciative of how many different people around the world, stopped what they're doing in their day and, took a few hours to draw stuff to help me make a project for something that I love. It was just really cool how the internet, growing over time, has brought people together. I mean, I would have never been in contact with all these different people if it hadn't been for social media.
I've actually got to watch that change. I mean, I remember in the 90s, pre-internet and after internet, watching that change, to where suddenly talking to somebody in Germany or what is no big deal. Oh yeah, I'm just talking, before that was a big deal. Well, I've got about 30 seconds here. And when I let you go, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get back on the phone to say thank you. So thank you for being on the show today. Can we do that now, Zach? I don't know. We've had issues with that, but appreciate you being on the show. Is there one moment in the trailer? Now, I understand everybody worked hard. All the assets are great. But is there one moment that you personally like, wow, I can't believe that one scene came off that well? Like, I wasn't sure if that scene was going to work. Do you have a moment like that?
Yeah. All the dogfight scenes, all the aerial combat ones were extremely hard because you had to get every single ship, every single frame, and all the laser bolts that they were firing.
Okay.
But the ones with BB-8 were really hard because you have to make him move, roll as a 3D object, but you're only working with 2D objects on Snapchat.
Right. Okay. Well, okay. Well, that's fascinating. I was, but like I said, I don't want to take away from everybody contributed very cool artwork and a lot of hard work. So that I wasn't talking about the quality of the artwork in those scenes, and that's not what you mentioned. So, but anyway, all right. Well, man, I got to run. Thanks so much for being on. Definitely reach out reach out when your next project's about to drop. That's bigger than Star Wars, and then we will. I'd love to take a look at that. But thanks for your time, man. Have a great one.
Absolutely, you too.
Yeah, take care, man. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap the show now. Tweet of the week. The tweet of the week. I've got to do Game Goblins. Oh man, let me do that real quick. Game Goblins is Central Arkansas's premier retailer of Magic the Gathering, Warhammer 40K, board games, card games, RPGs, miniatures, and hobby accessories. Call Game Goblins at 501-224-GAME or visit them at GameGoblins.com. That's 501-224-GAME or GameGoblins.com. First-time customers mention Shane Plays and receive $10 off your purchase of $50 or more. So call Game Goblins at 501-224-GAME or visit them online at GameGoblins.com. Tell them Shane Plays sent you. Next week, we're going to have the Central Arkansas Scale Modelers. And the tweet of the week, it's actually a hashtag this week. It's D&D clickbait, and you can go to shaneplays.com, check out the show notes. D&D, not ampersand, D&D clickbait. Here's a couple of examples. You know these clickbait headlines out there, Zach, that just try to get you to click on them? All right, from Dungeon Facts, 138 jokes about Drow that will make you LOLTH, loth. Dungeon D&D players will get that. All right, another one from Deception Zombie. Look what Bigby's hand was caught doing, and it's not what you think. D&D clickbait. Go check out that hashtag. It's hilarious. All right. KryptonRadio.com. We're carried there a week delayed. Krypton Radio, SciFi for your Wi-Fi. And don't forget, check out our Patreon and podcast. I'm out. We'll catch you next time on Shane Plays Radio, a journey into the things we love.